Bismillah. Welcome back, Zoo Crew. So, I guess the last few videos have had like themes, whereas like when I started this YouTube channel, it was kind of just me recollecting my thoughts and my day. And Callie has decided to join us, I believe. Uh, yeah. So I don't see her, but the door just opened. Maybe it's a ghost. Ha ha ha. But um, yeah, today was a fun day. I got to hang out with Phil, one of my friends from boarding school, you know. So we actually went on like a double date, which was nice. We went to go have dosa, and I guess I should explain why we went to go have dosa. That's essentially become like the tradition, you know. So whenever I'm visiting Montreal, we end up going for dosa. When it comes to Ottawa, we go for dosa. And this all started because of like a trip we took in grade 12 to Toronto. Um, you know, where because anyone who knows about Toronto, you'll know like the food scene there is pretty on point. So while we were there, I was like, oh, we should definitely go for dosa because back then, like Ottawa didn't really have any good dosa spots, you know. Um, so yeah, that was nice to hang out with him and see him. Then what did we do? We went to movies. Me and Mina. We watched Housemaid. Great movie. Great movie. Tons of plot twists, you know. And generally, I'm not a good person to watch movies with because within like the first 5 to 15 minutes, I can predict what exactly is going to happen in the movie. And then sure enough, it ends up happening. So with this one, like the first half of the movie, like I had no idea where it was going. And um, obviously, like halfway through, I kind of figured out who the bad guy was, or who the villain was, rather. No spoilers, you know, and the whole kind of plot. So that was nice. And then, given that it's like Christmas Eve and we're not really doing much of anything tomorrow because everything is closed, we watched the second movie, Friday Night Five Nights at Freddy's, something like that. It's like, honestly, out of the two movies, I enjoyed the first one more. The second one was, well, it was what it was, you know, this like whole genre of like horror type movies. Like they're all pretty much the same movie, you know. Um, so yeah, did that, came back home, and then as we were driving home, we were discussed. I don't remember how we got to the topic, but essentially we were talking about like the hero's journey. And again, right? So like a lot of the times I have no idea what I'm going to talk about in these videos. So when I like go out and about or like I'm like hanging with Mina and like talking to her, um, I guess she's in the background of this video considering the door was open and she just popped by. Um, yeah, so like we'll discuss things and then I'll get an idea for the video. So the idea for today's video was the hero's journey. And yeah, and then I guess like I showed her like a bit of Stefan talking at 21 convention about the hero's journey and like relating it to Jack and the Beanstalk. So for those of you who don't know, the hero's journey is essentially you have this person, they leave, so there's the departure from the life they know, then there's the initiation, and then there's like death or rebirth, and then there's the return, right? Um, so it's this is like a theme in pretty much every single story and like every single movie. Like you can think about it, like think about your favorite movie, and the main character most likely went through the same journey, right? So they left the life they knew, they departed from wherever they were, they had some form of initiation, and then they like gained their wisdom, etc. They went through like a death or like a rebirth and then they return, right? So like Iron Man, like the movie, you could use that as a great example, right? Like you have Tony Stark, he leaves the life he knows, he ends up in this like cave, then he like rebuilds his life after gaining this like wisdom, then he returns as like a superhero, right? And the way that Stefan would explain it is like Jack and the Beanstalk. And like I think everyone like should go and watch this video of him talking at 21 convention Like it's super sad that his YouTube channel got deleted, you know, because that would have been a great way for this guy's like memory and legacy to live on forever. But it's a moot point, you know. The channel's gone, it's deleted, so it is what it is. So I always find myself kind of coming back to this video, and I guess even before we like talk about how he explains it, uh, there's I'm laughing because literally like I've watched this video countless times, maybe 10 times, maybe 20 times, like God knows how many times. And then today, as like we were like driving back from the cinema, and like I'm showing Mina's video, the part that it was like playing is talking about like how your life or like you don't become a man until you take responsibility. And like this is why I'm laughing because it's like I've heard this like video and I've watched this video so many times, but this lesson never clicked for me. And now that like I've been like on this journey of like restarting my life, it literally clicked. I'm like, bro, this whole time he was telling me what to do. I had to take responsibility for my life to become a man. And like I didn't do it or I thought I had did it, you know? So rest in peace, Stefan. Like freaking legend, you know? Uh, but yeah, coming back to the point, essentially, so the way he describes it is like everybody knows the story of Jack and the Beanstalk, right? So you have like this single mom, and then you have Jack, and she tells him like, okay, take this skinny cow and go trade it in for something better. And then he goes, he trades it for some magical beans. He comes home, and his mom is like, you dumbass, like I told you to trade it for something better. Throws the beans out the window, tells him, okay, no supper for tonight. You go sleep. Jack wakes up the next day and he looks out the window and there's this magical beanstalk. He climbs up the beanstalk and then there's a giant there. He hears the giant. Giant's like, oh, fee, fi, fo, fum, something, something, something. I will grind your bones into bread or something. You know, I butchered this. Like the way Stefan tells it is so much better. But I'm exhausted and I'm just relaying information at this point, right? So he's in this castle. He comes across the singing harp. He steals it. He comes across the goose that lays golden eggs, steals it, and then comes across the princess locked in the castle and steals it, right? So the giant is furious. The giant wants to kill him. Jack runs down the beanstalk, chops down the beanstalk, kills the giant, becomes the giant slayer, right? And that is the hero's journey. And like again, the reason I'm like sharing this is the way he explains it, or like breaks down this story or uses it as a metaphor is pretty like insightful, I guess you could say, you know. So the singing harp, this is the vocation, this is your passion in life, that's your calling, that's what you're like born to do, right? This is something you're naturally drawn towards and something you're naturally good at. So that could be speaking, that could be art, that could be painting, making music, like anything could be your vocation or your calling in life, right? And then there's the golden goose or the goose that lays the golden eggs. And this is your like ability to make money, right? So again, this is like why I like the way he describes it is so many people are like confused or have this like preconceived notion that like their calling in life or their passion in life is where they're gonna make money. But like when we look at this story, the goose that lays the golden eggs, that's his ability to make money, right? And it's separate from the singing harp, which is his passion or his vocation, his calling in life, right? So the point is you need to have a skill or an ability that allows you to make money or have a job that allows you to make money. And then on your spare time, you chase your passion, right? And then when you have both of these things, then you can get your princess, right? You can't just like skip ahead and like think you can do any of it. Like you can't, like maybe you can, but it find your like princess before you have your singing harp and your goose that lays the golden eggs. And like if by some miracle or like some fluke you're able to pull that off, you won't be able to sustain it, right? Because that's like a whole other topic, and that's like getting into like red pill culture and like power dynamics and polarity and like a bunch of other heavy things that I am way too tired to discuss. You know, to be honest, my plan was this is gonna be like a short 5 minute video, and then I call it a day. Especially because like I still have to finish my prayers for the day. But yeah, I don't know how long this video ended up being. but straight to the point, you know? So, yeah, I'm assuming everyone is going to be chilling tomorrow anyways. So I'll do a longer video tomorrow, I guess, you know? We're gonna play it by ear. Anyways, Zoo Crew, that's it. Peace out.